or welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another video. It is pretty funny that I haven't had time to record any videos, and now I'm suddenly recording a video about the reason why I didn't have time to record any videos, which was my thesis. Which, I mean, this video is not going to be about my thesis, but this video is going to be about how to write a thesis. And, well, I'm currently writing my second thesis, so I'd say that I have a little bit of experience on this, and that I've learned a lot during the last 2 years of writing a thesis each year. And I do feel like, I mean, the bachelor thesis and the master thesis is pretty similar, so I do feel like this video might be helpful for a lot of people who are mainly in the humanities realm. I've written both my theses on literature, so humanities realm. I feel like humanities structures based on what my other friends have done and stuff like that are pretty similar, and I do feel like this advice could be helpful. I'm also sure of science because I'm not a girl in STEM, but maybe. Yeah, my objective here is just to help someone. I do believe that this is my foolproof method, and I do believe that this could help a lot of people, so that's why I'm putting it out here. And, well, at least if this is not very helpful or this method is not foolproof for you, it is going to be kind of like a checklist to follow to make sure that you have everything ready for your thesis. I was kind of hesitating about posting this video now or waiting, or if I should record this video at all, because I feel like everyone who has to do their thesis for this year is already 95% done. And everyone who has to do their thesis for next year actually hasn't started, so they're not going to watch this video. But it is really what has absorbed my life lately, so this is what I have to talk about. I don't have any books that I've been reading. I don't have anything to talk about other than my thesis, because that's what my life has been summarized to. If you see me looking this way, it's because I have my computer here on top of my boyfriend's coin boxes. I have a full document full of notes for these so that I don't forget anything that I have to say. And yeah, I've already read it a couple of times, but I know that if I have a document in front of me, I'm going to, my eyes are just going to wander that way. And, well, let's get into it. I have divided this document into 6 sections, categories. And so this is a little bit like an index for you guys. The first one is how to pick a topic. The second one is the structure. The third one is where to actually start. The fourth one is the analysis. Then we get to the conclusions and the abstract and introduction. Probably I did write here all of the timestamps of when that section is coming up. So if you only want to see one section, whatever, you will have it here. But you will also have it in the description box. I'll just write it down there too. Let's get into it then. I want to really get into this before I start rambling, because I am a yapper and I will start rambling. So, how to pick a topic. This, I feel like it's something that I had 2 very different experiences with. So I'm going to give you both experiences and you will see whatever you prefer, whatever is most helpful for you. An option is you can just pick something that you already know about or that you already are interested in and you would like to investigate, or you want to research in a more professional way. So this is what happened with my first thesis. When I wrote my first thesis, I actually wrote it in anti-intellectualism and the impact of social media in the publishing industry. And I feel like this was something that I knew about a lot. Not because I had necessarily done a lot of research, because it was at the time when the entire conversation came up on TikTok. I had to decide my topic for my thesis at around 2024, more or less. This conversation was very much trending on TikTok. A lot of people were just adding their 2 cents in the conversation. I've done a little short here on YouTube also about that. I thought I would do a video essay, but it hasn't really come up. I don't know. If you want me to do a video essay about it, about my opinions, you can let me know. So at the time, I knew a lot about it, not from an academic perspective. I just knew a lot about it, a lot of opinions, a lot of points of view, a lot of people talking about it at the time. And that's why I knew a lot about it. And I decided to just do it on that because I was interested in this. You can also just if you know a lot about for example, a friend of mine is doing right now her thesis on Victorian literature, I think, or Gothic literature. Or for example, another friend of mine did her thesis on cultural studies about wives and TikTok. Those are options, it's just topics that they were interested in, that they picked and they decided to study further. Now, if you don't know though, because it might happen that you're okay, I actually have no idea what I want to pick. Well, then professors, at least from my experience, professors tend to have a specialty. You just have to pick general topic in a way. For example, let's say if you want to do it in literature and sociology, or if you want to do it in social linguistics, you just choose the professor that has the topic of social linguistics and you get a meeting with him. Once you get a meeting, you can just bounce ideas off of each other and end up coming to a conclusion together of something that you will both enjoy working on. Professors are also researchers most of the time, so they also have some interest. This is what I did for my second thesis. I wanted to do it in literature, and this professor of mine, he had a specialty in literature and nostalgia, and I was very much interested in nostalgia. I was like, okay. So I got a meeting with him, and I ended up deciding with him which book I was going to talk about, and he ended up sending me some research about the book. And yeah, right now I'm doing it on the nostalgia as a representation of longing in the mentality of the outsider, and I'm analyzing The Secret History by Donna Tartt. Yeah, I don't know what the title will be yet, but that's kind of like that. What I told you, that's kind of like the objective, okay? That's like the general idea of what my thesis is. Yeah, I met with my tutor and I told him, honestly, I am very interested in the topic of nostalgia, but I have no idea what I want to do. I want to distance myself from my prior thesis. I don't want to study the same field again, but I fear that I don't know what I can study further. If you're honest with your tutor, if you're honest with them, they will probably help you. Now, once you pick a topic, you can start with the structure, and I have kind of like my own structure already that I use every single time I have to write a thesis. So I'm just going to put it here if you guys want to copy it. The thesis can be done in two ways. So I'd say this structure helps the way that I've done it. So I've done always qualitative research. And so what's the difference? Qualitative research is when you choose a piece of work or a subject. In my case, let's say a novel, and I do a deep study of the secret history of everything that happens within the secret history. And on the other hand, the quantitative research, you have more of like a general idea, I guess. Quantitative research, it's focused on the quantity, the amount of times that something happens. So let's say you want to do a quantitative research of how many times this trope appears in the books that are published within 2025. That's like kind of like the difference there. And I've always just taken a piece of work and studied it. So I guess for a quantitative research, you might have to like switch around a little bit the part on the analysis, but everything else should be pretty similar. And finally, once you have the structure written, you have a document with your entire structure, you have the topic that you want more or less sketched out. That's when you start to do two things simultaneously. So I start with bullet pointing ideas and my theoretical framework at the same time. And what do I mean by at the same time? Like not exactly at the same time, but basically I start doing research, I start reading. This is the most tedious part, which is doing the theoretical framework, because like everything is research. Everything has to be set before by an expert. You have to quote, you have to cite stuff, you have to bring ideas. And well, this always takes me the longest. So while I do this, I tend to hit a wall, and that's why the moment I hit a wall, I feel like I'm going to get into that writer's block. I'm not going to be able to write further, and I'm just blocked and I don't touch my thesis in a couple of days. That's when I know I need to get out of there. So what do? I bullet point my ideas. And so usually I have already read the book, so I already have general ideas of what I want to analyze, what I want to do. And so I can start kind of like writing down, sketching out ideas in like this different sections. So I would start here doing the motivation, the analysis parts. I would sketch just bullet point ideas. Now, for the theoretical framework, that is like the most taxing part. And for me, it's always very, very hard to find a way to keep all my research organized until I saw like this method that I think Jack Edwards recommended. And it was kind of like a document with a research log. It was just like a table, and you would have title of the text, whatever. Then what, like the information that you got, the ideas, the quotes, whatever. Then the page, the publishing information, and notes. And basically with this, I've been keeping everything pretty organized, and then this will help me so that when I get to the point where I need to use it, when I'm writing the theoretical framework, I can just look back on it and pull ideas from there. Now, if you're already writing your thesis, you already probably know about this, but because I don't love doing research as much as I love just analyzing the text itself, I struggle a lot with finding sources. And so you can always use the snowball method, which is just every time you find a document that is, or like an article, a book, whatever is useful for you, look at the references that they have cited, look at their bibliography, and check it out to see if any of the documents that they have cited are actually helpful to you, because they probably are. And that will save you a lot of time when it comes to research. The amount of sources that you have is going to grow exponentially if you do that. Now, the next section is finally analysis. This is my favorite part of writing a thesis, because this is kind of like what you bring to the conversation, the new stuff, the new ideas that you're bringing to the field. And when your ideas start to be important, when you're included into like, okay, this is a topic that I'm interested in, what do I have to say about that? And I mean, by the point that you have to write it, you already bullet pointed everything, like based on like, you know, the step before. So really, in this part, it's just writing everything that you bullet pointed into paragraphs, into compelling paragraphs, and drawing off of your notes that you logged in the research log so that you can justify all these like little bullet points that you have with actual citations from the novel or whatever you're studying. Just develop your ideas, and this is my favorite part, honestly. It's also, I feel like, the most creative part, because everything else, like, you have to kind of like say like, okay, experts say this, so this must mean this. You have to like reason with experts. But when it comes to analysis, you're just doing an analysis of like your interpretation of a book or your interpretation of the figures that you found out. I do have to say that don't go too crazy. You're a bachelor student or master student or you're whatever, but you're a student. Like, you are in no place to make big claims against experts. Before all about this, I would love to tell you, like, yes, just write everything that you want, all your opinions, everything. But if all experts are against you and you have no way of reasoning it somehow else, just maybe don't say that. I feel like I'm saying it jokingly, but yeah, like, you have complete freedom to analyze the text and give your opinion and your reading and your own critical reading of the text. But don't start contradicting every figure of authority that's out there, because they will probably know more than you on the field. So I would keep that in mind. But if you have coherent arguments that are supported by theories or other experts, then by all means, just go for it. Now we get to the conclusions. This is a part that I always feel a lot of pressure when I'm writing. So I feel like a lot of people might relate to this. And my pressure mainly comes from the fact that I feel like, how do I say this? I feel like when I am told to like do research and skim through documents, I would read the introduction and the conclusion first, right? So I feel like there's a lot going on in the conclusion, and it's actually pretty important that it's clear what your findings are, that everything is clear, that you justify your research. And well, I started doing this by sections, and this really helped me. So what I do is I will first summarize every single section. So I'll do little summaries in like the different parts of the theoretical framework, the different parts of the analysis, stuff like that. And I'll do this before starting the conclusion, right before. And then I would read them, and based on like these little summaries, I would do a longer summary, and that is the conclusion. I would just round up all these little summaries, and this would really help me into like just mentally prepare myself to like write a bigger summary of like everything, but not double think about what is important and what's not, because I already summarized everything into what is important in its section. So from there, just getting everything and putting it all together for me seems like a less daunting or taxing task than just reading the entire document and picking and choosing from like different sections. Because you might think like, okay, in research this is most important, in the analysis this is most important, but then when your brain starts trying to make a conclusion, you will start debating whether the analysis part or the research part is more important. But once you have everything already, like, okay, both are important, both are different, fine, I have to mention both. I don't know, I feel like this really helps me. Also, keep in mind that during the conclusion, you don't have to add anything new. You just have to conclude what you already talked about. So it's also important to like not pull ideas out of your ass that you have not mentioned in your entire thesis. Moreover, like, keep in mind, if your thesis is long, your conclusion is going to be long. So what do I mean by this? You cannot summarize, I mean, you can, but like, you cannot really summarize a 60-page thesis into one paragraph conclusion, because then that means that it wasn't necessary. The 60 pages were not necessary, probably. And now last is the abstract and introduction. And you might think like, why are we doing this last? This is the first thing. Well, because the abstract is like a summary of the summary of the summary of the summary of everything that you've done. So you cannot really write what you're going to study without knowing the results that you will get. So you have to wait until your analysis is done, until the conclusions are done, until everything that you consider that is the most important findings and stuff like that is done, to write down like, okay, I am analyzing this, I am looking into this. Because you don't know what you're going to discover in your research before starting. You might have a general idea, you might have like an objective, but let's keep this in mind. Like, the idea that you start with is not necessarily the conclusions that you get. So you might want to mention in the abstract, okay, I went in, not in the abstract, I would say more in the introduction, but I went in wanting to study this and I discovered this. So this research is about the discovery of whatever. I would say that this is just like the last part. People are already like done with everything. So it's like not as stressful for them, but it is important because it sets the tone of how like the people are going to receive your writing. You kind of have to like mentally prepare them. It's like the introduction in a book. It's like, you know, I'm not saying like just come here and like make them be interested in your, no. Okay, let's focus. It's an introduction to a thesis. You don't need to like make people, I don't know, like you don't need to intrigue people into reading your thesis, but you do have to like lay out like what is going to be studied, why is it being studied. That's also important. Yeah, in general, like the motivation, the hypothesis, the objectives of your study. So the abstract is going to be a short paragraph where you will talk about mainly like what you're studying generally or what are you proving generally. And the introduction can be a little bit longer. I would say like 2 pages or so would suffice if your thesis is like 50 pages. I haven't really mentioned the methodology. I guess I actually just copy paste kind of like the same wording in every thesis I do, or like every document, every essay I do, and I just talk like, yeah, I'm just going to do this analysis with this objective drawing of the theories of these people as presented in the theoretical framework. That's like my introduction line for the analysis. And then that's where I also specify that my analysis is qualitative instead of quantitative, and that what novel I'll focus on, stuff like that. That's what it really goes on in the methodology. It's not really that big of a deal. And well, that's it. You have your thesis done. I don't know if I was talking like very, very fast or if I just didn't have that much to say, but well, that's it. You have your thesis done. Now, you can go ahead and prepare your defense, which I cannot really help you with because every time I have to do a defense, I'm just like trembling. But yeah, the thesis itself, now it's written, it's prepared. You just have to present it, and that I cannot help you with. But good luck. Now, in all seriousness, I think that is it. I believe that is it. If there is anything that I haven't really covered that you think it's important, or whoever is maybe watching this video, you might want to write it in the comment section, and I'm sure people will check it out. If you've written a thesis before, if you have anything to add, please don't be afraid, just comment it. So that's it for today's video. If you like this video, you might consider subscribing because for you it's not much, and for me it will make my day. You can also like, comment, everything is appreciated, and I hope to see you soon. Bye!